Hello friends, this video is for BCom semester 4, BCom and BBA semester 4 students. Our subject is production management and our topic is Unit 2 production and process design. We are going to learn today a process design. These all are the outlines which we are going to learn today. First, definition of process design, needs of process design, factors of process design, types of process design, framework for process design, and process planning procedure. So, what is process design? Process design is a design of process that design products and services effectively. You can easily understand that process design is a design of process that design products and services effectively. Now, the definition of process design. So, what is process design? The activity of determining the workflow, equipment needs, and implementation requirement for a particular process. Process design typically used a number of tools including flowcharting, process simulation software, and scale models. Process design can be the design of new facilities or it can be the modification or expansion of existing facilities. Design starts a conceptual level and ultimately ends in the form of fabrication and construction plans. In easy language, we can understand the process design that in order to achieve good process design, effective process strategy is required. Effective process strategy means deals with the raw material procurement, customer participation, technology investments, etc. We can also say that the process design is to take into account the appropriateness of the process to overall organization objective and should deliver customer value with constant involvement of the management at various stages. Now, need of the process design. There are total 3 needs for process design. The first one is it sets clear expectations. When you share what the design process looks like with your client, it allows you to establish realistic project deliverable and deadlines together. Your client will know exactly what to expect from you and when to expect it, eliminating needless miscommunication later. That means when you give knowledge about your product or design to your customers, it should be clear or understandable. Customer must have to clear from their mind other useless conversation is not necessary while dealing with the customers. Second need for the process design is it puts clients at ease. Many clients begin working with us unaware of everything it takes to transform a good idea into a great final product. With a clear and concise design process in place, you can show your client exactly where their money is going during the design phase of your product. That means if customer is not sure about the product or design, it is your responsibility to guide your customer for more better way into invest. The third need for process design is it decreases risk of failure. All aspects of products design need consideration, and a good design process accounts for everything. Sure, you can create a great looking product with visual design alone. But if there is no thought behind its usability or no research behind it, you increase the risk that your product will fail. That means if you use a process design strategy in your production, it is very carefully and effectively, there is minimum risk is there. Now, factors of process design. There are total 7 factors of process design. The first one is nature of demand. The main objective of any production system is to produce products or services according to the customer's requirement. Therefore, it is essentially for an organization to schedule its production in such a way that it can always meet estimated future demand levels. That means if we are going to produce some production, then we must have to take care about the customer's demand, fashion, style, choice, etc. so that we can reach to the achievement for our goal and demand of the customer and can produce more effectively in the market. The second factor for process design is influence of demand patterns. The demands for a product does not follow a fixed pattern over time. The rise or fall of demand over time is influenced by several factors, such as seasonal fluctuations, which affect the design of the production process of the product. That means sometimes the same production process or the same pattern does not working because of the seasonal fluctuations. We have to change our process design as per season so we can easily achieve the goal in the market. The third factor is influence of price level. In most countries, customers are price sensitive in their purchase. They buy or more of the product when the price is set low, but tend to buy lower volumes when the price level is set high. The price volume curve has many implications in the design of the production processes. For instance, managers decide on the application of different designs, inventory and shipping policies at different levels of activities in order to produce the quantitative demands at minimum cost. The design of production process should take care of all these factors to be effective. That means price level is one kind of very effective factor for process design because customers must purchase that process or services by their low price. So we have to maintain our production process decision as the lower price with the high quality. Now, the next factor is degree of vertical integration. One of the prime consideration of an operations manager when developing production process design is the level of vertical integration. Vertical integration refers to the extent to which the production and the distribution chain extending from the suppliers of raw materials and components to the delivery of finished products is bought under the ownership of the organization. In other words, the degree of vertical integration determines the extent to which a product and its components are produced internally. That means degree of vertical integration is also more effective factor for the process design. This is an internal factor of the organization for the production. The next one is flexibility. An organization is said to be flexible only when it responds quickly to changing customer needs or demand conditions. Flexibility is essential for organizations to increase or maintain their market shares. That means our product must be flexible, because if we can easily change our product by demand, trend, fashion, style, customer's choice, etc., so we must have to make our product process design flexible. Flexibility can be broadly classified into two types. First one is product or service flexibility, and second one is volume flexibility. That means product or service flexibility means flexibility in the product, and volume flexibility means flexibility in the price. The next factor is degree of automation. In the past, automating production process was very costly. It was also difficult to integrate automated process with other production process. For these reasons, managers in the past tended to avoid automation. But today, operations managers have realized that if automation is not made a strategic weapon, it will be a strategic limitation for their operations. Automation has become essential for organizations to remain competitive. That means in the time of past, automation is very costly, so that the manager cannot afford and cannot use the automation process. But in today's technological time, automation process is very useful for the managers or for the owners to process a design for be stable in the market or in the competitive stage. The next factor is quality level and degree of customer contract. The level of quality of a product or service decides whether it can compete in a market. Decisions taken on the desired quality level of products, service affect the design of the production process at all stages. The desired level of quality has a direct implication on degree of automation to be built into the production process. These all are the very useful factors for the production process design. Now we are going to learn types of process design. There are total 5 types of process design. There project design process, jobbing process, batch process, mass process, and continuous process. Now we are going to learn in detail. First, project process. So what is project process? Project process is very important type of the process design. It is internal process of the organization. Project process includes some components like project start, project preparation, project planning, project implementation, and project compilation. You can note the components: project start, project preparation, project planning, project implementation and project compilation. Second one is jobbing process. So what is jobbing process? Jobbing process is one in which resources are allocated to multiple projects at the same time. In this jobbing process, a high varieties of the products are generally produced but at the lower volume, but at the lower price. The third process type is batch process. So what is batch process? Batch process is a process in which the product comes out in groups and not continuously. That means batch process product is produced in more quantity but does not deliver its product continuously. The next one is mass process. So what is mass process? Mass process is a method of process that uses a standardized process of creating interchangeable parts in large quantities for a low price. And the last type of process design is continuous process. So what is continuous process? Continuous process is a flow production process used to manufacture productions or process the material without interrupt. That is called continuous process. That means you can process continuously without any interruption and without any gap. That is called continuous process. These all are the types of process design. Now we are going on framework for process design. There are total 8 steps for framework for process design. The first step is characteristics of product and services offered to the customer. That means first the one have to decide all the characteristics or features of the product and services which we have to offer to our customers. Customer must have to knowledge about the product, content, process, packing, etc. The second one is expected volume of output. Second, we have to maintain some expected output that we can assume the estimation for future by doing this production process. How much we can obtain from this process? We have to estimate for future outcomes. Third one is equipment and machines available in the plant. After these two steps, then we have to assure that equipment, machineries or devices which we are going to use during the production process is enough, sufficient or in working conditions or not. The fourth one is cost of the equipment, machineries. After assuring the equipment and machineries, the next framework step is to decide the cost of that equipment and machineries. The next one is labor, skill and their wages. That means after deciding the cost of the equipment and machineries, we have to check the skill of the laborers and then distribute the work among that laborers, or then decide the wages rate according their skill. The next framework is expenditure to be incurred for the manufacturing process. Then after we have to decide the expenses which will occur during the production process. The seventh one is make or buy decision. After expenses decision, the next step for framework is make or buy decision. That means after whole process we have to decide about buying decisions. And the last step for framework is method of handling material economically. That means which method we are going to use to handle our production material by economic way is very important to decide that which method we are going to use for handling our material by the economic way. These are the 8 steps for framework for process design. Now we are going to learn process planning procedure. There are total 6 steps for process planning procedure. The first step is identifying the problems and opportunities. This we are learn in semester 1, identifying process and opportunities. So what is identifying the process and opportunities? That means first, for the planning procedure, we have to identify our problems and our opportunities for which purpose we are going to produce the product. The second one is inventorying the forecasted conditions. So our second step for planning procedure is inventory and forecasting the conditions for which we have to produce or process the planning product. We have to inventory our forecasting conditions, means our future conditions. The next step is formulating alternative plan. The third step for process planning procedure is formulating the alternative plan. That means we have to formulate our or make our alternative plan for production, because in the difficult situation or some circumstances in which your production process is not working, so that time you can use that alternative plan and to continue your production. The next one is evaluating alternative plan. The next production process is evaluating the alternative plans. After formulating the alternative plan, you have to evaluate that plan for future estimation. The next one is comparing alternative plans. After evaluating the all plan or alternative plan, one have to compare that plan with your regular production planning process. If it sets with your production, so you can easily apply it anytime. So you must have to compare your alternative plan or your regular plan. And the last process is selecting a plan. Selecting a plan, that means after comparing that plan, you have to select the one suitable plan for your production process. So you can easily apply that plan in your production process. These all are the steps for production process. Here our process design is complete. Thank you.